This video contains spoilers for the Problem Solverz show, so if you don't want to be spoiled, just click off the video. In the year 2011, Cartoon Network released a show called The Problem Solverz. The show follows Alfie, a fur monster, Roba, the half-human, half-robot, and Horace, a human. Together, they created the group known as the Problem Solverz. I remember watching this on TV as a kid, and I didn't really mind it. And 14 years later, I decided to rewatch it, and I have to say, this show has some issues, making it look and feel inconsistent, but it's not all bad. The first thing I'll talk about is the art style. The show looks like what I would think you would see if you're on some hardcore drugs. Some of these character designs look horrendous, like Alfie. If they were going for a living piece of poop for a character design, before they changed the design later on in the show, then they nailed it. The show likes to mix 2D animation with 3D animation, and it just doesn't mesh well. It looks choppy when there's a character on a 3D object or a person. Everywhere you look, the show is so colorful and bright, making it a bit jarring at times. And some character designs like Alfie are questionable in the show. And take Tux Dog for example. He looks like he has a butt on his face. Sometimes the show forgets the colors of some characters, like Alfie's fur in a picture as a child and Roba in the episode Making of the Problem Solverz video game. Later on in the show, the art style changes for everyone. The characters look more glossy, which unexpectedly helps them blend into the surrounding environments a bit more. And the people's fur when changed, and Alfie's fur is lighter and the texture is more visible, not making him look plain and flat. I mentioned earlier that the Problem Solverz is inconsistent, and a good chunk of that comes from its animation. The show seems to forget what just happened in a moment. And for example, in the first episode, Horace goes to pick up an aged kid with long hair. In the next frame, the kid's long hair just vanishes. In other scenes, things just vanishing happen as well, such as Nina's hair disappearing after a problem solved stamp, Alfie's semaphore stamp in the Girl Scouts not appearing, then disappearing, and rope that tied Roba and Horace to a satellite also disappears in the next scene. There's also bad size comparisons. A person or an object can look big, then smaller, then even bigger in the same scene or the next scene. There's moments where the animation just isn't accurate. Some examples of this are when Roba used the problem solved stamp on Horace's forehead. The stamp is bigger than Horace's forehead, and the stamp is reversed and it's upside down, and this makes the stamp left on Horace's head impossible to be perfectly aligned compared to what the stamp has. And another example of this is in the episode Bad Cat. Alfie walks into Bad Cat's board game Super Casino first, then Roba, then Horace, but in the next scene, it switches to Bad Cat entering first, then Roba, then Horace, then Alfie. And blatantly bad animation is in the show too, like when there was the 3D animation for the ice cream factory when it was turning around, Alfie, Roba, and Horace entering Tux Dog's helicopter, and when Horace shows his mixtape to Alfie. There's also a scene where Roba's eyes change from vertical to horizontal for some reason, even though they've always stayed vertical in the show. And the last example is when Alfie uses 2 grenades, but only one of them goes off and the other one just doesn't go off. In the episode Funny Faces, the show completely disregards the previous problems that the Problem Solvers solved in the previous episodes. The aged kids, the alien Girl Scout, and the bandits are all together having a good laugh. This also doesn't make any sense because of the orders of the case numbers. The Funny Faces episode is supposed to happen before the Awesome Bandits episode, but it just doesn't. I guess it just forgot that it happened. Now I've thrown together a compilation of the Problem Solverz plot inconsistency to help picture what I'm talking about a little bit more.
Looks like you figured out my plan.
Your plan?
It was I who leaked and planted those photos on Funston.
At the beginning of this video, I mentioned that the Problem Solvers isn't all bad, and that's because of its main set of characters. Alfei, Roba, Horace, and Touchdog. As a team, Alfei, Roba, and Horace have some chemistry when they work together, making them a viable team, even when it's just chaotic. You have Horace, who is a leader that guides Alfei and Roba, keeps them in line, and also saved them in high school by creating the Problem Solvers group, making Alfei and Roba not feel like dorks in high school by changing their status. Horace's best moment in the show is when he helps solve a kid's cereal problem, when he explains that people with differences shouldn't fight and instead compromise and share ideas. However, the plot made this go in a completely different direction like 5 seconds later.
Will you marry me?
Yes! Hooray!
I now pronounce you fish and wife.
And Roba is a tech-savvy, prepared individual who has some tricks up his sleeves that help make solving problems easier for the problem solvers. Roba exceeds in science and research, making him usually diagnose the situation before advancing to the next step. And one thing Horace and Roba have in common is that they care deeply about Alfei. And speaking of Alfei, Alfei is chaotic, which most of the time actually benefits Horace and Roba. And Alfei gets himself into a messy situation and he can usually get himself out of it. Alfei is like the glue for the problem solvers and always helps push episodes forward by creating better pacing for the show, because sometimes it's a bit slow when Alfei isn't there. Alfei eats trash, has monkey jeans, is pure mud, mistakes water for pizza.
What does this shape remind you of? Pizza?
Can't read, takes baths in the toilet, can turn into a sleep ball, sometimes has hands, says his name consistently like a Pokemon. But he always has good intentions when helping people, like when he built a skate park for kids to use after school. Together, the problem solvers step in when the cops don't/won't/can't solve problems in the city, like in the episodes Awesome Bandits, Bad Cats, and The Magic Clock. Now, the last character I'm going to talk about is Touchdog. Touchdog is the mentor for the problem solvers who is there for them if all else fails, or if they're just stuck trying to fix a problem. He actively works with them and sometimes complements their strengths. He also is there for a confidence boost or reassurance. And now, not much is known about Touchdog, but I'm speculating that his mentorship for solving problems when he's working with the problem solvers is working, because in the episodes Magic Clock, Zoo Cops, Hamburger Caves, Puffy Puppies, and Farborough, the problem solvers are able to solve problems on their own. Now, the series ends with the cliffhanger where Alfei runs away after being mistaken for a bear by Roba and Horace. This show did have interesting concepts like the clock that can give you extra time and destroy time, and interdimensional stamps that can take you to any dimension. But sometimes, unfortunately, this show can get really, really weird.
What is this?
It's the Problem Solverz video game. Sit down, take a seat. Yes! What the? Isn't it wonderful? Isn't it my best video game ever?